Hello, my name is Ashley Osorio, and I'm going to be explaining Chapter 6, or Module 6, which is Interpersonal Communication through CMM, which is Coordinated Management of Meaning. I will be explaining the skill of dialogical communication, which is a conversation in which parties remain in the tension between holding their own perspective while also being open to the other. And I will connect this towards my work life and the skill that I can apply for me and for my other associates. So again, for what dialogical communication means is it's basically a conversation in which parties remain in tension between their own perspective, between an argument, but they're still open to listening to the other, and they're still open to understanding why the other person thinks the way that they do. This form of communication takes courage because it's giving up your person's sense of superiority. You're giving up not essentially your stance, but also you're taking a step back and you're allowing that other person to fully express their beliefs. And it might alter the way you think later on, so it can help you grow, it can change the way that you are, it makes you more open-minded. By having this skill and growing it, it changes your point of view and it makes you into a better person because you're not cutting someone off because their views are different than yours. So the way that I'm going to apply this skill that I learned in this chapter is going to be when I was at work. So I work under a manager that states that he's always correct and he's always right about things, policies, things like that. And it really gets under everyone's skin. Everyone doesn't like to communicate with him. So with him and him having his power complex, I know never to challenge him. I always take a step back and I think about why does he think the way that he does and what would happen if I were to challenge his thoughts. It wouldn't end up ultimately good. So I know that I always stand with my beliefs and what I think is right, but I always know that when I'm communicating things with him, I need to take a step back and to understand that he's not necessarily going to change his point of view, but maybe if I understand the way that he's thinking or where he's coming from, then I will gain perspective and alter my mind. And maybe that helps me in the future with other difficult people. So I think it's good that I'm dealing with this now and I understand this skill now because it helps me actually realize that this is a process and it helps out in the future because you just take a step back and you think, how did this person learn to think this way? And it helps you yourself grow. So I always try to stay quiet and just reason and think, okay, he thinks this way because there's a certain reason why, and I need to learn that, and it opens my mind. And I think that the dialogical communication founded in this chapter really, really is important, and it will help other people understand why things are the way they are. And it does help communication in the long run. So I do think that this tactic really influences how people change and have open perspectives, and it's going to create a more unified and constructive and healthy forms of communication later on in life, and hopefully that can get passed down to other people later on. And that will just be people growing up will be like, I need to take a step back. I need to think about what this person is saying. But also you can still keep your opinions. And I think that's very important in this skill is that you're not just giving up your own opinions. You're keeping your own, but you're also trying to understand others.